I asked my table for a tip after they were gonna stiff me, and I don't care how much hate I get for this. Everybody talks about tipping culture this, tipping culture that. No, but let me break it down for you, okay? It's Saturday night. I'm being told I'm gonna get a party of 16, which I said, great, bring it on. Let's go, easy money. So I thought, okay? So the party of 16 gets sat in my section. They take up 3 tables in my section. So when you get sat at a party, you usually get skipped in rotation a few times because you're dealing with a big party. I get to the table, I introduce myself, I do my whole spiel. Before I'm finished even speaking, one guy's like, whoa, hey, stop. He said, hold on. He said, you're not going to talk to them, you're going to talk to me. I'm going to order everybody's food and then I'll give you the drinks. I said, okay, perfect. What are we having to drink? He said, no, I'm going to give you the food first and then I'm going to give you the drinks. I said, okay, perfect. What will you be having? He ordered 6 vegetarian combos, which comes 2 veggie patties, 2 protein pancakes, egg whites, and a side of fruit. He said, but we don't want egg whites. All of the egg whites, change them out for hash browns. On those hash browns, I want you to add jalapenos and onions. Great, let's do that. Then he proceeds to order 7 omelets. 7 omelets, which come with 3 pancakes each. Okay, perfect. After that, when he gives me the drinks, he orders 15 waters, no ice, 14 hot chocolates with whipped cream, and 1 regular coffee with regular milk. Okay? I said, perfect. I've sent in the order for you. He said, and make it quick because we have somewhere to be. That's where I almost lost my shit. Because how do you come out to a restaurant, order 7 omelets, and tell me to hurry up? I said, you know what, sir? There is other people in this restaurant. It probably won't come out as fast as you'd like it to, but we will definitely try our best. Okay? When I tell you that the kitchen got this food out in like that, the kitchen got this food out quick. I had 2 other servers help me run food. We were all carrying a bunch of hot plates. Took it to the table. They got everything that they needed. Before the food got to their table, they all had already napkins, syrup, hot sauce. They had everything that they could have needed to enjoy their meal. So they enjoy their food, whatever. I'm checking on them. They keep saying everything's great. When it came down to give them the check, I gave the check to the guy who was like, oh, I'm going to order everything. I'm going to pay for everything. Okay, great. I gave him the check. The check was $320 with some change. And when it came to pay, he pays me cash. He gives me $321, which means no tip. And I was like, okay. So I went to the table. There's no tip at the table, anything. I said, okay, I'm going to go ask him. So I went up to him. I said, excuse me, sir. You only gave me $321. I just wanted to ensure that this was accurate. You're not going to leave any gratuity. I just wanted to make sure everything came out to your expectations. You enjoyed your food. Everything was to your liking. And, I just want to make sure. He said, well, I didn't know it was mandatory. I said, no, it's not mandatory. I just wanted to ensure that this was accurate, that nobody took the tip off the table or anything like that. This man pulls out a $50 bill, gives it to me, kind of like, here's your tip and shut the fuck up, get out my face type shit, which I don't give a fuck, because how dare you go out to eat in a party of 16 on a tab of $320 and not tip? And I feel like nobody was going to believe me, so I saved the check. I'm going to show y'all. This check is literally half my size. I'm not even playing with you right now. Like, okay, $320, right? Minimum 15% gratuity would have been $48. So he basically just gave me the minimum, which is fine. But if you don't got money to go to tip on your meal, don't even go out to eat. And I'm not talking like, oh, like if you're by yourself and you get a $15 meal. I'm not saying leave $30 tip. No, like not everybody's set up like that. Not everybody knows the industry. But how dare you go out to eat? 16 people, rack up a tab of $320. Be rude to your fucking server. Enjoy your service still and not fucking tip. I don't care. I did what the fuck I did. I don't give a fuck. And my servers, I know y'all felt that shit. Sometimes we just got to sit here and make sure, because I wanted him to admit to me that he wasn't leaving me a tip on a $320 tab. I wanted him to admit to me that he came out to eat with 16 of his friends and family members and decided not to tip. I wanted him to admit it. I would have been fine. Okay, cool. That's the type of person you are. But he gave me my tip, so whatever. But nobody was going to believe me. Look how fucking big this
$320 breakfast breakdown. Welcome to the TikTok time capsule. where we store the internet's wildest cultural moments before they get deleted and rebranded as a Netflix documentary.
I don't believe in tipping, and here's why. The other day I went to Shake Shack, placed my order on an iPad. I got absolutely no service. Yet on the iPad, I got asked if I wanted to tip. And they had the audacity to start at 15, 18, or 20%. Or how about this one? I went to a bar, I bought a drink, and in my receipt has a tipping option at the bottom. But they sneakily put in a service charge right above the tipping option. So whether I want to or not, I have to tip either way. Why are they asking me to tip twice? And then there's Starbucks. So I ordered my drink, which is already like $5. And then they have the audacity to ask me to tip as well. As someone who's worked in the hospitality industry for over 5 years, I strongly believe that tipping is correlated with the service that you offer. If you're already getting paid and it's your job to take an order and hand over a coffee, why do you have to ask for a tip? I'm not against tipping in general. I appreciate when somebody goes out of their way to ask me how my meal was, and I reward that with a tip to thank them. But when I get asked for money and I get nothing in return, is that really on me?
I'm not sure what the fuck just happened, but I went into a sandwich shop and I went up to the window, ordered the sandwich I wanted, which was a pre-built menu. It wasn't like I went down the line and you built the sandwich for me in front of me. I ordered and I got a drink and I went to pay for it, which I picked up at a different window. And I went to go pay and I pressed no on a tip and the transaction went through and she said, "You didn't tip me." I said, "I know. I know." And I was very kind, very polite, right? She said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Well, I ordered a sandwich and I'm getting it to go. There was, I didn't feel like there was a tip needed." She goes, "Well, everybody tips us." And she goes, we're making your sandwich for you." And I said, "Isn't that what your hourly hourly wage is for?" And I guess I was like dumbfounded just a little bit. And I still feel like I'm in shock and speechless just a little bit. But I am all for tips where it's deserved. Bartenders, servers, waitresses, your hairstylist sometimes, and however that works and you're part of if it's built or you go to whatever. I am all for leaving a tip when it's a service job that you have given me a service for and an appropriate tip. But all I did was walk to the window, order, and take it with me. Why should I have been felt guilty to not have left a tip on an $8 sandwich that was on your menu? I don't know. I got to get over that one before I drive away.
Tipping culture has gone too far. The $320 breakfast breakdown. And today, we're cracking open one that got everybody talking.
Tip culture died when people in places not fitting for a tip came into the picture. Let's talk about it. The restaurant and business operating industries are becoming very upset because people who are low income and even the people who are decent income are really struggling with giving tips on orders that are already overpriced and extremely high, and they just don't always feel the need to tip. Granted, I understand the importance of tipping when necessary, but I think business owners have to also catch a grip and realize that people are not responsible for paying your employees. You are. Tipping is what we call extra. It's kind of like an additional incentive for great service. Speaking of service, I can't seem to understand why places like Starbucks will have you drive around a drive-through window after you've ordered a juice refresher and nearly pressure you with a Palm Pallet to select option 3 to leave a tip when you came through the drive-thru.
I do not tip at those little credit card spin around kiosk things that they have at like coffee shops and bakeries and clothing stores and fast food, whatever. Like any place that you're just like buying something at the counter and they spin those things around and say like, it's going to ask you a couple questions. I don't tip. And I have no shame about it. Because what am I tipping for? You didn't give me a free upgrade. You didn't give me a free extra shot of espresso. You didn't give my coffee a little kiss and tuck it into bed at night and give me a free discount. Nothing. Like, your job is to stand behind the counter at a coffee shop and make my coffee. And I paid for my coffee. I'm already paying $9 for this 20-ounce iced oat milk latte or whatever. Your job is to make it, and your employer's job is to pay you to do that. And right when I'm inserting my credit card into the machine and you make a cute little comment like, "Oh, I love your earrings," or "Oh, your makeup looks so cute today," I'm not going to tip you because of that. Like, Thank you, but a compliment is not worth another $2 on top of this $9 coffee to me. And I am a people pleaser to the core, but I think we all just need to take a step back and stop being a people pleaser in this situation. The people behind you, sure, they can see that you clicked 0% on the tip. And I promise you, as a person who stands behind other people in line, if someone sees you tip 0%, they're not thinking to themselves, oh, what a monster. Oh, what a terrible person. They didn't tip anything to this barista behind the counter. No. They're thinking, thank God, someone else thinks this is as stupid as I do. Now I'm not going to be the only one that doesn't tip 0%. We all need to stop. Pay for your items, pay for the things that you're ordering, and let the employers pay their employees. Inflation is high enough, corporate greed is high enough. It is not up to the customer to pay the employee extra on top of what they already make. If we keep tipping at those kiosks, and the employers are getting exactly what they want. But if we stop tipping, they start making less and they start complaining to their employers. Or they leave and they go work somewhere else where the employer actually pays them enough, and then the employer has to start paying them more. It starts with us, and we need to start doing it.
The tipping debate. Because one man just left a $1 tip on a $320 bill, and the entire internet said, "Sir, explain yourself."
This is controversial and it will piss off some of you, but normalize clicking no tip on the iPad. Normalize it! Because I am dead tired of paying for things that should not be tippable. Like, I just went to a coffee shop to buy a bottle of water, and like the lady turns around, opens the fridge door, and pulls out a bottle of water, right? She shows me the iPad, like she turns it around, and then it's like 15, 18, 20. I'm like, girl, forgive me, no tip. But like, I'm sorry, like the way she I know the tipping prompt is like involuntary, like regardless of what I order, like it will pop up. But like, you look at me dead in the eyes and you flip that iPad and you show it to me, like, pretending like we don't both know what you're doing. I don't know, I think that's crazy to me. In fact, it's not even the worst of all examples. I think tipping culture has gone out of control. We should not be tipping for basic service. Like, what is next? Jesus.
So I usually never tip when I go out to eat or when I get food or anything like that. I think tipping is not necessary. I feel like it's not my responsibility as a customer to subsidize wages. Like, it's not my fault that you don't get paid enough, so I'm not gonna tip you just because you decided to work in this industry. And fun fact, in Japan, if you tip, they take it as you're belittling them or insulting them. Like, it's offensive to them if you tip. So maybe they should do the same thing here. If I have bad service, I won't be tipping. If I'm eating at a buffet, I won't be tipping. What are you doing? I'm getting my own food. All you're doing is coming around every once in a while and clearing the plates and giving me something to drink. I'm not gonna tip because I'm getting my own food. Thank you very much. If I am ordering to go, I am not tipping. Nope. 0. Not tipping. If I am at the mall and I order pretzels or I order, Dippin' Dots, no, I'm not tipping either. I'm pressing 0 on that tip screen. You want to know the only people that I tip? Strippers. Because they're giving you a service. They're putting a whole act for you. They deserve that tip and more.
So here's the scene. It's Saturday morning. Our server's ready for an easy shift. Maybe a few tables, some pancakes, good vibes. Then walks in a party of 16. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, that number alone will send your soul straight to voicemail. The leader of the group steps up and goes, "You're not talking to them. You're talking to me." And that's when you already know it's about to be one of those tables. He starts ordering like he's building a custom video game character. 6 vegetarian combos, no egg whites, add jalapenos, 7 omelets, 15 waters, 14 hot chocolates, 1 coffee, regular milk. And make it fast. Sir, this is a diner, not Gordon Ramsay's personal...
Things that absolutely trap my ass. People that expect to be tipped for everything. Yesterday, I went through Starbucks, okay? I had a sweet craving. I got a cake ball and a venti ice water. And when I went up to the window to pay, she told me I told her. I went to hand her my card. She refused to take my card and she shoved the thing in my car for me to insert my card. And the very first screen as a tip screen. And I pushed no tip. And she looked at it and looked up at me. I'm sorry. I am not tipping you for handing me a ice water and a cake pop that you guys get in surplus that you take out of the bags and put in an individual bag and hand it to me. You didn't do shit. So what am I tipping you for? The tipping is getting out of control. Even if I went inside and got a custom drink, unless it was a really complicated drink, I'm not going to tip you. I'm not doing it. Now, I take me and my husband and our 5 kids to a restaurant, and that server is running her ass off, getting us ketchup and extra napkins, and my son dropped his fork, and she's replacing his fork, and she's refilling 7 people's drinks. I'm going to tip the shit out of her, okay? I go get my hair done, it takes 3 hours, and some chick standing behind me on her feet all day long and working on my hair for 3 hours, I'm going to tip her. I go get a massage, and someone's using their body and massaging on me for 75 minutes, I'm going to tip you. I'll admit, sometimes I go through Dutch Brothers or Starbucks and I order a simple drink. And if that person's super, super sweet and loving and kind, I'll give them a little bit of a tip. But these people thinking that we need to tip for absolutely everything is mind-blowing.
Kitchen. But somehow the staff pulls it off. Plates are hot, orders are right, extra syrup, extra napkins. The man even gets his regular milk coffee on time. Everyone eats, no complaints. And then comes the moment of truth, the check. $320. The man counts out cash, $321, and calmly gets up to leave. Now our server looks at that lonely $1 like it's the last slice of dignity left on the table. So he walks up, respectfully, and says, "Excuse me, sir, just confirming, no gratuity tonight?" The guy turns around and goes, "I didn't know it was mandatory."
I'm not sure what the fuck just happened, but I went into a sandwich shop and I went up to the window, ordered the sandwich I wanted, which was a pre-built menu. It wasn't like I went down the line and you built the sandwich for me in front of me. I ordered and I got a drink and I went to pay for it, which I picked up at a different window. And I went to go pay and I pressed no on a tip and the transaction went through and she said, "You didn't tip me." I said, "I know. I know." And I was very kind, very polite. Right? She said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Well, I ordered a sandwich and I'm getting it to go. There was, I didn't feel like there was a tip needed." She goes, "Well, everybody tips us." And she goes, we're making your sandwich for you." And I said, "Isn't that what your hourly wage is for?" And I guess I was like dumbfounded just a little bit. And I still feel like I'm in shock and speechless just a little bit. But I am all for tips where it's deserved. Bartenders, servers, waitresses, your hairstylist sometimes, and however that works and you're part of if it's built or you go to whatever. I am all for leaving a tip when it's a service job that you have given me a service for and an appropriate tip. But all I did was walk to the window, order, and take it with me. Why should I have been felt guilty to not have left a tip on an $8 sandwich that was on your menu? I don't know. I gotta get over that one before I drive away.
Here's where it gets deep. He's technically right. Tipping isn't mandatory. But here's the thing. Servers in America make $2.13 an hour. That's not a living wage. That's a cry for help. Tipping isn't charity. It's literally how they survive. And look, I get it. Tipping culture has gone overboard. We're tipping at drive-thrus, vending machines, self-checkouts, even the airport iPad wants 25% before it prints your boarding pass. But when someone's been taking care of your table, refilling your drinks, running back and forth for an hour, that's not optional kindness. That's part of the deal.
Please don't ask me for a tip for a service that I paid full price for. A server expected a tip at a restaurant that they paid $2.13. That's expected. That's not even a conversation. That yes, they do need to get paid more, but that's the times that we in. And if I decide to sit down and eat, I'll leave a tip. I feel, obligated. But if I go in for a service and I'm paying full price for that service, why are you asking me for a tip? Like outwardly asking me, no tip, no tip. I'm just confused because the price is the price. Me and you can't talk and negotiate about a price. So why are we in conversation about a tip, a optional extra payment for a service? A tip is at the discretion of buyer, the purchaser. That's not something that if you want more money, you need to include that into your price of service. I don't even want to come back. Like, I don't even care how good the service is. You asking me for a tip like that, you rubbing me the wrong way, boo. I need you to come up $2-3 on the prices.
I am so over tipping. It's gone too far. And so here's my new perspective, my new strategy when it comes to tipping. Number one, I am not tipping anywhere where they ask me to tip before I experience the service. For example, I went and got a $9 smoothie the other day, and right when I was like ordering my smoothie, I was like, oh, I'll get the breakfast smoothie. Then they're like, okay, it's just gonna ask you a few questions. The answer is no. One, y'all haven't made my smoothie. 2, I haven't tasted my smoothie. 3, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this smoothie yet. Why am I tipping? Like, I'm not tipping. Also, it's a smoothie. It's not like a sit-down restaurant. Like, what are we doing? There's a lot of places that make sense to tip, like restaurants. You experience the food, you experience the service, you're sitting down, you're being served. Of course you leave a tip there. But again, that tip is based off the experience. Okay? Same thing. Nail salons. You get your nails done, you pay and you tip based off the service. Okay? I'm not tipping preemptively. So that goes for coffee shops where they turn it around, ask you questions, ice cream shops, anywhere like that. Ice cream shops alone is just a no for me. You scooped my ice cream for 15 seconds and put it in a cup. Like, no. You guys are paid hourly. Like, hourly rates. If they're not enough, talk to your employer. But why is that burden being put on the consumers? I will never understand. As a business owner, imagine if every single time you guys bought a planner from my site, it was like, oh, just leave a tip. Leave a tip for what? We hand make all your planners, and I'm still like, leave a tip for what? No.
Where is the craziest place you've seen asking for tips? Like, what is the craziest business that you've come across that have asked you to tip? Because, like, I think tipping culture is getting so nuts. It's getting way out of control. These corporations are so greedy that they're wanting us to supplement their workers so that they can take home more money at the end of the day, which is BS. And I've seen comments online of people being like, I went to go get my tires rotated and there was a tip option at the end of it. Like, what? So I'm just curious, like, what is the craziest business that you've seen asking for a tip?
People are saying that the tipping industry is getting out of control, but we really need to be talking about the burger industry. Because how are you going to charge me $13 for a burger and not give me fries? Who has ever just been like, you know what, I'm really craving for a burger without the fries, a burger with no chips. Make it included. You know how cheap potatoes are? I know it's not running you that much money.
The real problem isn't the customers. It's the corporations that use tipping as an excuse to underpay staff and then act shocked when customers get tipping fatigue. They say, we value our team. Yeah, but you value them at $2.13 an hour. Now, I'm not saying tip everyone for everything. You shouldn't have to tip your self-checkout or your dentist. But when it comes to food service, come on. You can't drop $320 on brunch and act broke when it's time to tip $40. If you can't afford the tip, you can't afford the table. Period.
Tipping culture in America is out of control, but it's the biggest life hack if you do it correctly. I was at a coffee shop in Miami recently. I ordered a cappuccino and there was a $2 mandatory service charge on my bill for making me a coffee. I'm totally fine with tipping well for great service on a 3-course meal, but a mandatory service charge on a coffee? I go to Starbucks and grab a water out of the cooler, self-serve, and purchase it, and they flip the screen around and ask if I want a tip. It's just going to ask you a few quick questions. I know what the questions are. Tipping for little things like that is absolutely ridiculous. However, tipping is the biggest cheat code in the book if you do it properly. If you go to the same bar or club every weekend and there's always a line to get in, when you get up to the bouncer, shake his hand, ask for his name, and then slip him a $50 bill as you walk in. He's going to remember you every single time you show up to that bar, and he's going to let you cut the line every single time. Same thing with a nice restaurant. If you tip your waiter 100% of the bill one time, and it's hard to get a reservation at this place, anytime you need a reservation, you can hit this person up and they're going to get you right in. If there's a hotel lobby bar you go to all the time, give the bartender a $50 or $100 bill. They're going to remember you forever. They're going to hook you up on cheap drinks. They're going to introduce you to other wealthy people sitting around you. It's the biggest cheat code in the book. Save tipping for strategic situations and good service, but not tipping on a cappuccino. Come on.
Out is a privilege, not a right. If you cannot afford to tip 20%, you can't afford to eat out. You can moan and tell me that my employer should be paying me a higher wage all you want, but this is America and that's not what is happening, okay? I get paid $3.63 from the restaurant that I work at. My earnings, my wage comes from tips. The food is cheaper. because you're expected to tip on it. You don't deserve to eat out if you cannot afford to tip. Like, it's the same thing with a nanny. If you can't afford to pay somebody else an entire salary, you don't deserve a nanny. If you can't afford to tip, you literally don't deserve to eat out. Order to go or go to McDonald's.
Don't flip that thing in my face. You get no tip.
A man on Reddit is going viral. He went to get a walk-in haircut, okay? $15. When he went to pay, the tablet displayed the tipping options. The choices included 50, 70, and 90% tipping options.
I would never go back to this person. $15 for a haircut, though, I'll take it.
That's what I'm saying. That's
great.
Reasonable.
But here's the thing.
But you would
leave
tip.
it up to me.
Yes.
That if you're going to charge me $15, I'll give you 50%. I'll give you 30% because I'm still saving money.
Yeah.
You got it. If you give me only that option, now it's spite time. Now it's spite time. You might get the last $15 out of my pocket. I will never come back that you gave me that option. Don't put that thing in my face and force me to tip. I'm going to tip you based on your skills and what you do. And even if you stink and you serve me the wrong food, I'm still going to give you 25%. When I go to pick up a coffee or a piece of pizza, don't flip that thing in my face. You get no tip. No soup for you.
Did a DoorDasher really just message me and ask me to send them an additional tip because I live far away? I'm like 15 minutes from the restaurant that I ordered the food from. First of all, if the order was too far for you, why did you accept it? Second of all, this was a $30 order and I gave them a $10 tip. That's a third of my order. Are you freaking kidding me? And you got the audacity to ask me for more money? And my food was cold. The fuck?
So next time that little iPad flips your way and gives you the choose your generosity stare, take a deep breath. Remember, you're not just tipping for the food. You're tipping for someone's rent, their gas, their groceries, maybe even their sanity after serving a party of 16. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be remembered as the $1 tip guy. Welcome to the TikTok Time Capsule, where we don't just talk about culture, we tiptoe through it one viral story at a time.